Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome from Weiden to the world. My name is Stefan, and I am the CEO of openpack. I am proud of you because all of you survived Black Friday. But what's more important is that you are here this evening together with us. And it will be a special evening because we will have a world premiere this evening. No, in fact, it will be a multiple world premiere this evening. Why that? Yeah, at first, I'm 50 years old now and no speaker this evening. You see, this is what happens to old guys here. Second, today, and for the first time, we have 4 top speakers, especially for you. Third, for the first time, we have more than 100 registrations for this event. I am very happy to welcome you all this evening. And last but not least, we thought you had enough wine the last 2 events. So this evening, we will do deep talk without wine. Just in case you would like to ask, no, we did not give any rebates for openpack this Black Friday. Openpack makes all of you, all participants, more productive. We reduce your technical costs and we help you focusing on your core business. But as I said, enough from my side. Let's have a start. If you joined our last 2 events, you already know the rules, but for the newcomers here this evening, again, here are the rules for this event. The first rule, it's just very easy. You can stay completely relaxed, just listen and enjoy. We do not see you, also other participants do not see you, so there is no cam function activated. You are very welcome to take screenshots of any slides you're interested in. But if you are, if you want to focus on the presenters, it will be very easy for you because we will give you a recording of the event, a complete recording, and we will send this to you by email afterwards. If you have any questions during the event, you see a link which will be posted in the chat window. This link, it was provided by Larissa, you now can see it. Just click on this link and this link will bring you to our Mentimeter. You can just type in your question there, send it, and after each session, so after each presenter, after each speaker, we will present the questions and also the answers, and this will be done live and individually for your question. In case there are any technical problems for you, just send a short email to our technical guy, to Ulrich. He is sitting just behind the screen and he will take care of your problems and try to fix it as soon as possible. That's it for the rules this evening today. And I think we can have a start. I'm very proud that we have managed to get a keynote speaker from a worldwide market leader. Welcome, Jens Greiner. Jens is an enterprise technologist at AWS, and he will tell us about digital transformation. He's working for AWS. It's the worldwide market leader in cloud computing. The company was founded in 2006 as a subsidiary of Amazon.com. And just to give you a small insight of the customer basis of AWS, 80% of all the companies listed in the German stock index, DAX 40, are customers of AWS. So enough from my side. Jens, I'm happy to have you here, and I'm happy to learn about digital transformation from you. The stage is yours. Jens, I'm sorry to interrupt. I cannot hear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You have to activate.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Seems that my micro was not working. Sorry. Yeah, thanks for the warm welcome. It's great to be part of the Digital Days, openpack Digital Days, to be invited here as a speaker. As I learned, over 50, we should not. We should not speak. So I'm over 50. I'm still allowed to speak here. Great to be part of that. I work in AWS as an enterprise technologist, and in this role, I help our customers on a digital transformation journey. Personally, I have a 30+ year background in manufacturing industry, was working for different companies, and for the last 18 years for a bearing manufacturing company in different roles, but also as an AWS customer. So I know also the customer perspective when it comes to this digital transformation journey using AWS and introducing the cloud into a company. Today, I will talk a bit about this digital transformation from different angles. And the first thing that just pops up in conversations today is generative AI. Generative AI became very popular over the last 12, 13, 15 months with ChatGPT. So a chatbot that really generates answers in a human-like way. These kind of innovations have really a transformative or can transform industries, a transformative approach to the way how we are working today. But we believe that beside this ChatGPT chatbot, there's so much more that is possible with generative AI in the industry, in companies. But why does generative AI really became popular over the last year? And there are three reasons that come together. One is that we have a lot of data. The proliferation of data is just massive. And then additionally, we have the compute power, especially in the cloud, to really use this data and then train models with new machine learning innovations like the transformers. I think they have been introduced in 2017, when I'm correct. So a few years of having this transformer technology, new machine learning innovations, the compute power, and the massive proliferation of data available. And this all together really enabled to train models, generative AI models or foundational models, to be more precise, which are pre-trained and help to really use these models for generating text or generating pictures in a complete new way that was not possible before. But generative AI is based on machine learning, and machine learning is something that our customers are using for years on the AWS cloud. So machine learning is something that is not completely new. It's in the market for a long time, and more than 100,000 customers of different sizes and with different in different industries are using machine learning. So it is the further development of machine learning capabilities that allows us to do things differently today. But it's all based on data at the end. A short look into what cloud means. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is simply defined as delivering IT resources over the internet in a pay-as-you-go model. This is what you find when you search the internet. As already mentioned, AWS was introduced 2006 as part of the Amazon, or belonging to Amazon. And Amazon Web Services in 2006 started this kind of web services, what is in the name, which then later on was called cloud computing. But there is a better way, in my opinion, to define the cloud computing, and that's just grabbed from Jeff Bezos from the letter to our shareholders in 2011. And here, Jeff Bezos describes cloud computing as a self-service platform that allows thousands of people really to boldly experiment and accomplish things they couldn't do before. This is 2011. Today, we need to say millions of people, because millions of customers are using the cloud to boldly experiment. And that's something that was also the trigger point for me when I was myself a customer of AWS, to really transform the things I'm doing or my teams are working on, using new technology to really generate new things based on our ideas we had at that time on a very low cost level and with a high speed. An example is that we trained the model back in 2018 on a video stream to identify defects on power rails in a manufacturing setup. And normally this would cost 10,000s of euros at that time to just buy the hardware to train these kind of models. And this was done on a 2-digit dollar. This means it was around $10 to really train that and experiment to see if it makes sense to really build something on top of that. And this is what describes the cloud for me in a better way, to play around with the technology to translate ideas into some tangible outcomes. Digital transformation could be described in different ways. And the most simple way I could find myself was to look into a company, the internal perspective, and say, we want to do more with less. This means the same amount of products with less resources produced, or with the same resources produce more. So internally, it's all about the efficiency within a company. And digital transformation helps you to gain efficiency, as you already heard in the introduction. When you look outside to your market, then it is about new business, to generate new business streams and go into new markets or enhance products and services for your customers, in your existing markets. A very brief overview about some numbers that could visualize the potential when you really use your data and in modern technology. The internal perspective, looking into a manufacturing company, this is based on a study from the Hackett Group released in 2023 with 600 companies, which moved into the cloud and also had at least one significant workload in the cloud. And they just mentioned that they have a 16% increase in the OEE, the overall equipment effectiveness, in their manufacturing setup by moving into the cloud and utilize the data in a better way. They have a 42% higher automation on the workflow side, a decrease in quality incident claims of 21%, minus 21%. The unexpected downtime of IT reduced by 39%, which is the built-in resiliency in cloud services. And importantly, they had a decrease in 36% of unplanned unexpected downtime in manufacturing, which translates then finally into this increase of the overall equipment efficiency. That's the internal perspective. But there's also an external perspective looking into business agility. This means how fast you can really translate your ideas into value for your customers. And here it is about the on-time and in full delivery increased by 16%, but more importantly, the lead time decreased by 21% for these companies. This means from the first touch point to deliver the service or product to the customer was significantly reduced. And for me, the most important, the innovation part, is product to market speed. This means really a 22% faster speed to market for creating new products and services. Looking from different angle, why should you really think about digitalization from a company perspective towards your customers? And this is something that I introduced when I did the digital transformation myself in the past. And I said, physical products will get a digital layer. And this is to simplify the lives of the users so that the user could do or concentrate more on the things they really need to do and to have an easier way of interact with the products themselves. And from an internal perspective, from a company perspective, This means you have a continuous interaction layer between the user and your product. And this generates a feedback loop, what they really want, what they really use, how they use the products. And simply speaking, from a company perspective, every product becomes a salesperson in itself, because you can interact with the user. You see when maybe something is at the end of the life, or you can upgrade and update your products. So you can never have as many salespeople in the field as you have products. So that's a perspective towards the product. But how do you really come from a physical product to a software advanced product, or even a software defined product? And this should just generate a bit of a mental model, how you can really think about it. And the easiest example I can think of is a car where you have your steering wheel and your complete steering setup. When you turn your steering wheel, your wheels turn to the left or to the right. My first car was out of the 70s. I'm not that old, but it was a cheap used car. And this the steering setup was a pure mechanical setup, no support. When you look into a modern car, you have a support in your steering. It is done by an electric motor and by software. And that's still a steering setup, nothing special. But then you have a lane assist that helps you to stay within your lane. And what this means is that you use additional information from sensors capturing the street and actively tell through the software, the motor, to help you to stay in your lane. And this is a safety feature you have in a software advanced product. And you can add more things like a parking assistant and so on top of your physical product. And if you think further on to a software defined product, you just take out the mechanical connection between your steering wheel and your wheels. And now you can pretty much freely define what the steering is doing based on the different sensor inputs. And you can update and upgrade your products when they are already sold. This means you can make your customer happy after the product is already on the customer side. You have sold the product. You have a continuous interaction with your customer. Looking a bit into a manufacturing setup now, looking into digital transformation, what it could really mean. And this is now something, this slide that should just help a bit to think about what could happen. This is not, I would say, a fixed thing when we talk about a dark factory, but the dark factory is something that pops up from time to time in discussions. And I think now, in the meantime, with generative AI and these new capabilities, it becomes more relevant to think about what could happen over the next years. And the dark factory, simply speaking, is a factory where you don't need light because it's fully automated, so you don't have manual interaction. It's nothing that we have today. But starting from point number one, the automated factory, this is something we are doing since the 1970s. We automate our factory lines with PLC system, with robotics, and all this kind of things that we know very well in the manufacturing setup. But towards a full automated factory, the next step could be a remote factory. A remote factory means you need to have all this feedback data coming back, not just telling the machine what the machine should do, but also to understand how they execute. This means the ears and eyes and all this kind of things that you normally would have with your people around the machine. If you have this kind of data captured and collected, you have a feedback from your manufacturing setup back to your data layer. And this allows you to run a lot of your things remotely. And when you have all this feedback data captured, then you can also use this data and put an automation layer on top using AI and ML to analyze how the machine behave under certain conditions and optimize in an automated way the machines. And then you move up to the self-driven factory. So from the remote factory to the self-driven, this is the step where the new technology that we are talking over the last 12, 15 months heavily, AI, is really playing a key role. And moving from that onwards to the dark factory means then you need to automate also the human interaction layer. But I think this is not something that you should see as it's a given thing, but it is something to think about what could happen. And to put this into a perspective, when we talk about discrete manufacturing, we are between the automated and the remote factory level. So in discrete manufacturing. When we look into the process manufacturing setup, we are more to the remote factory. And the reason for that is that in this process manufacturing setup, by default, you capture more data throughout your complete process because it is needed to execute and produce your products. When you look into chemical plants, for example, there's a lot of data captured, not just what is executed, but all the temperatures and all the flow information from fluids and so on are captured along the way. This is why they're just a bit more towards remote. When you go into a chemical plant or into a petrochemical plant, you see not so many people really in this manufacturing setup. And moving on a bit further, thinking about energy production. If you look at a wind turbine or at small hydropower plants, they're pretty much fully automated. There are no people really interacting. So they are really driven in a remote setup, maybe even a bit more towards self-driven factory. And when I look into what we are doing at Amazon in the fulfillment center, there are still a lot of people working. It is not a dark factory, by far not. But especially not during the Black Friday week. But the decisions which are made normally by humans are highly automated. This means the reordering of the products and where they are placed and the complete logistics, what happens within, it's highly automated. So it is self-driven and people are more observing really about the things happening instead of actively interacting. Otherwise, it would be impossible to have this one-day delivery time made possible without this automation layer. And from this idea, looking into the setup here on this screen, on the left side, you see the business value. This is where customers are interested in. They want to have a problem solved. They have needs. So that's the business value where they are willing to invest, where they want to spend their money because they have a benefit. And this business value is made or is delivered by, for example, a production setup. And here you have purchasing, supply chain, you have manufacturing operations, logistics, sales, customer service, and also sustainability information, and even more things. All these kind of functions across the value stream in a factory or in a company generates data. And this kind of data need to be made available throughout the value chain in companies. And we call this a modern data strategy. And you need to have this data strategy, or you should have a data strategy defined and also make the data available throughout the value stream, because generative AI will really be able to deal with data in a different way than we could deal with data the last 5-10 years. So there's really a change, and so the need to have your data strategy well defined and make your data available across the value stream becomes, or is very important now to utilize artificial intelligence capabilities to generate business value. And with that said, I'm already at the end so that we can open up more for the questions. My last thing is here really to start your digital journey now. I think it is really the right time to spend two steps back, look at the company, look into your data strategy, and look ahead. And I'm sure you will hear a lot of additional information with the openpack hub in the further sessions. Thanks. Ready for the questions?
Jens, thank you for this very interesting presentation. I very much liked your claim, more for less.
Yeah.
Very good claim. There are already some questions for you. And as I said, I will give the question to the whole audience. I just read it and then please answer it.
Yep.
So the question is, how can small companies benefit from the digital transformation even if they have limited resources?
Mm-hmm. It's a good question. When I talked about the 100,000 customers running on AWS, openpack is one of the customers. In openpack, with the openpack hub, for example, you produce a platform that makes it simple for smaller customers to directly jump on and utilize this technology. It does not mean you need to develop everything yourself, right? But if you have a specific use case, you can still build a small piece and plug it again in to capabilities. So I think it is really important to think about the partners you can have that help you to transform and help to transform your business. You don't need to reinvent the wheel and do everything on your own. I hope this answers a bit the question.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
There is another question. The question is, what advantages does digital transformation offer in terms of business process flexibility?
Oh, that's a nice question. First of all, a process could be defined in different ways. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of processes that were used to delegate responsibility to a process. I think important is to have an ownership to deliver value. And the process is a support to deliver this kind of value continuously with the right quality. So simplify your process wherever possible and automate. In Amazon, we don't use processes, we use mechanism. And a mechanism is a tool. It is the adoption of the tool, and it's an inspection cycle. And here, we use the mechanism to improve continuously. We control the inputs and we measure the output. And I think it's important to simplify your processes, and then if you have a good process, then automate the process. Don't automate a complex or bad process. Then you don't have the benefit. Simplify your process, deliver value, and automate this one.
That's it for the questions. Jens, thank you for having you here. Thank you for this wonderful keynote, and happy to see you a few hours after the event.
Yeah.
So let's move on here to our first speaker, and he's coming from our own team. I'm happy to welcome our CTO, our head behind the openpack technical infrastructure. I'm happy to welcome Sebastian. He will show you today a little bit of technical insight to openpack, especially the openpack hub. And as he is from our team and he's already here live, I do not have to introduce him. Sebastian, I think it's better done by yourself. Here we go.
Sure, thank you. I would need my presentation. Great, thank you. Hello, I'm glad I can speak to you today about our digital day, about our product, the openpack hub. Few words about myself for the beginning. My name is Sebastian Wiendl. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at openpack. And despite being new to the digital day, I'm of course not new to openpack. I've been on board from the very beginning since summer of 19, and I've been helping build openpack from then on. My background is in industrial engineering, but I've always had a very strong focus on IT in manufacturing, which was very helpful. And of course, I love to tinker around with technology a lot, and I think that really helps in a position like mine. With these few words, I want to go a little bit, before I dive into the openpack hub, into the current manufacturing IT landscape. Some things you might recognize, some might be new. There's a lot of people, of roles, of functions around in a production plant, in a manufacturing plant. And I'll give you a few examples. Energy manager might say, I need all resource consumption values in one place to do ISO compliant reporting. A maintenance planner might want to implement on-demand maintenance, but needs actual production data to do so. An executive function might want to know the per unit cost of corrugated board itemized by some dimensions. A production planner might have the issue of one of the converting machine is broken, the intermediate storage is already half full. How fast should I run my corrugator? All eyes on the IT worker, and he says, we have all this information, but it's distributed over 10 databases. These are highly vendor specific. There's no digital interface, and if there is one, formats and protocols are older than my kids. This requires a 10-year plan. And he knows, the poor IT worker, he doesn't get a 10-year plan. All he gets is 10-hour workdays for the foreseeable future. Now, with this in mind, let's take a step back, and I will give you a short overview about the openpack portfolio. One very important part, of course, is the openpack hub. Here, openpack acts as an enabler for users and partners, and the openpack hub in general is concerned with data acquisition, data standardization, data distribution, and some more functionalities that I will explain later. Besides that, openpack also offers solutions. For example, a full-fledged IoT solution called the Digital Factory with live monitoring and dashboards, reporting, and digital asset information. Also resource control that helps you with factory-wide energy monitoring, optimizing your consumptions, and aids you in performing energy audits. Besides that, we also have a solution called procurement. This is more of a transactional application that helps you with finding and sourcing parts and doing it all in a digital way. So let's dive into the core functionality of the openpack hub. You can imagine it as some kind of very powerful power strip. We can help you plug in existing solutions and systems, augment that with openpack solutions on demand as you please, and then also bring in partner solutions. And everything should be as simple as plugging in something into a socket, into an outlet. The hub then takes all the information, everything that is plugged in, and makes sure everything works with each other. It takes care about sending data to the right places. And if we summarize that, the hub is all about connecting, standardizing, and sharing data. So the examples from the beginning, I tried to put on a little bit of a graphical overview. If we engineer our wake backwards from the users, these users have informational needs. They might already be using applications to fulfill these informational needs. All these apps, however, need data, because without data, there's not much information to be gained. For example, here I've put a corrugator and a rotary die cutter. Now, connectivity without the openpack hub suffers from this phenomenon. You have to connect everything with everything to have all the data in the right place. This is what we call an end-to-end connection problem. Now, that's a little bit abstract. What does it mean? If you look at it like this, it's kind of okay. However, the problem arises if you start growing, if you start changing. Take, for example, you want to add a bale press. You start adding it and have to connect it to each and every application. And then you take an ERP system and also have to connect it to each and every application. And then the other side of the story, your users want additional apps to perform their daily tasks. And then you go ahead and connect everything again. And here is where our IT worker is already unhappy again. It's very complicated. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time and money to do so. Now, how would efficient interoperability with the openpack hub look like? The setting is about the same. We have our users that have informational needs, that use some kind of apps. These apps have to be filled with data from your assets. But now, instead of connecting everything with everything, we start to connect everything once to the openpack hub. And therefore, we change the N2M connection problem to an N2 connection problem. Hang on, that sounds even more abstract as before. Let me give you an example again. Say you want to connect your bail press again. Now, instead of connecting the bail press to each application, you just connect it once to the openpack hub, and the openpack hub basically distributes the data to all the applications that you want it to. Same holds true for your ERP system, for example. And on the other side, on the application side, so we basically scale with additional assets. And for the other side, for the application side, we do basically the same. If you choose to use the openpack condition monitoring, you can do so. You just connect it to the openpack hub, and all the data that's already connected will be available in the openpack hub. Meaning, the openpack hub also scales with additional apps. And it gets even better because this works not only for our first-party applications, but also for third-party. For example, maintenance solution, Festo Smart Tenants. But could be any other application as well. Now, our little IT guy is quite happy because his life has suddenly become a lot easier and the users have much better access to data. Now, what are the key technologies? How do we do it? Basically, openpack centers around two pillars of technologies. One is cloud technology, of course, powered by AWS. openpack is an AWS partner. Our software is qualified software, listed as qualified software with AWS. And what does it mean for you? We offer openpack as a software as a service solution. It means it's zero effort on your side. It also means we take care about IT security. We take care about 100% encryption. We take care about tight access control and multi-tenancy. And we keep all the systems updated and running. To get the seamless interoperability that we offer, we rely on information models powered by OPC UA. openpack is also an OPC Foundation member, so we are quite committed to this technology. And what that gives us, what this offers us, is well-defined models that are reusable, that carry high-quality, reliable meta information, and are both vendor and technology neutral. To summarize, we use cloud technology with our partner AWS for security, and we use information models powered by OPC UA for interoperability. You get the best of both worlds. Now, with this knowledge, let's have a look at advanced opportunities with openpack hub. For example, imagine this situation. You have a rotary die cutter and a work-in-progress storage that is connected to the hub. The hub sends the data to the condition monitoring, and the condition monitor notifies the user that the work-in-progress is full. What does the user do? Of course, he suddenly speeds up the production speed of your rotary die cutter, which might lead to increased wear and tear. Is there maybe a better solution? Yes, there is. We've heard a lot about AI, generative AI, and we can also do that because the openpack hub has a very powerful additional component that is always included. That is the openpack historian. The data from your assets not only gets transported to applications, but also into the historian, which is a great place to train your own AI models or have partners train them for you. These models can then be filled with live data and therefore can predict potentially critical situations in your plant. Now, the notification suddenly reads, not the storage is full now, but it will be full in about 15 minutes. This gives your users, your operators, the time to gradually increase the production without very spiky workloads and therefore protects your assets. If we step away from the very specific use case, basically what openpack hub can offer you here is it supports your users in making accelerated decisions. Basically, we can help you increase the efficiency of your manual labor in an environment of raising labor costs. These are use cases that we are already doing, that are live, that are productive. So if you're interested, of course, contact us. Now, with this, I want to look a little bit further into the future. Setting is about the same, but now suddenly the user is kind of out of the loop, becomes an observing user. System only says the work in progress is full in 50 minutes, but it's easy, everything is under control because the artificial intelligence itself will gradually increase the production speed. So here, openpack can help you to get even faster response times to potential incidents and also ensures optimum resource allocation in the face of skilled labor shortage. So labor is not only increasingly expensive, skilled labor is increasingly in short supply. And with that, I want to thank you for your attention, and I hope you got a good glimpse into how the openpack hub can help you connect and standardize your data.
Sebastian, thank you for this wonderful insight into the technical background of openpack and also some useful use cases you mentioned. I love technical insights and I love to go deep inside technique, and I also love technical questions, especially when Sebastian is near me, because then I do not have to answer them on my own. So Sebastian, this brings me directly to the questions, and there are a couple of them. I just start with the first. Who is integrating data sources into the hub? Is this done and maintained by openpack?
Good question. The hub connections, there are multiple options. One is, if you already have one, we can build on top of that. However, if there is none, we can pull in our partner network and they can help you connect, managed by us, of course. The third option would be if there's absolutely no connection whatsoever, we can start implementing it on our own, and we basically take care of it.
Thank you for this. There is another question. It's a shorter one. How can I integrate own apps for the openpack hub?
That's easy because the openpack hub thrives basically on application programming interfaces, on digital interfaces that are well-defined, that use very ubiquitous technology, in our case, a lot of HTTP-based REST APIs that are well documented, and you can use those to integrate openpack with your own applications.
Yeah. Another question to you. Are there plans to integrate any other specific apps like Festo's Smartness? This is a maintenance application. And if yes, which?
Yeah. So basically, currently we have multiple projects regarding maintenance solutions, Festus Martinens being one of them. We're also working on implementing, but there's no limit. If you have an application, name it, and we can talk to the vendor and try to integrate it.
Perfect. Another question regarding training AI models with data from the openpack historian. Are there any specific models you are already working with?
That's hard to answer because the models are all highly individual. So basically, we trained our own models based on the data of the openpack historian. But you can use any technology you like. Everything that's available in the wide AI ecosystem can be connected to the openpack hub, to the historian.
Cool. Another question is, how can I access my data in the openpack hub?
That's basically nearly the same answer as how to integrate your applications with the hub, because all these application programming interfaces are also available for you to access the raw data. We have specialized interfaces for bulk raw data access, but it's similar in the ease of use.
Cool. I see another question coming from someone who is not a fan of artificial intelligence. The question is, I am not a fan of the AI hype. Am I forced to use it with the openpack hub?
No, you're not. If you don't want, of course, you don't have to. The openpack hubs interfaces make it a quite versatile tool. You can implement it with any application you like. This can be classical reporting, analytics, and also AI applications. But if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay, so you do not have to be afraid of AI. Another question is there. How do I prepare best for implementing openpack? So I think this is rather a practical question.
I see. As you might imagine, openpack relies a lot on availability of data. And if you're in the market for sourcing a new piece of equipment, ask if it's already openpack connected or openpack compatible. If not, ask for an OPC UA interface. And if that's not available, take whatever interface, digital interface you can get, because we can make it work. However, what I found out is source the digital interface as soon as possible, because adding it later on usually is more expensive than doing it from the start.
Cool. I see there are no questions left. Thank you, Sebastian, for this quick and short insight to the technical background. Yeah. And this leads me out of the depth of this technical ocean, coming straight to the voice of the customer. And I am very proud to welcome one of Germany's largest family-owned packaging producers. And we have the CEO here live at this today's event. I'm really proud to welcome Björn Schumacher, the CEO of Schumacher Packaging, and he will tell us a little bit about what Schumacher is doing in terms of digitalization, in terms of standardizing data, in terms of getting data out of machines, and what they are doing together with openpack. Björn, I'm happy to have you here, and yeah, here we go.
Stefan, I hope you all can hear me. Thank you for inviting me. Very glad to be here and share my experience, which we gathered in the last couple of years, together with you guys, together with openpack. Yeah, Schumacher Packaging, for those who do not know us, Schumacher Packaging is a German company. Today, even a European company. We have 29 locations spread over Central Europe. We employ more than 4,000 people presently in the group. And we produce as well recycled container board, as solid board, as all types of packaging made out of those materials. We see ourselves as full service supplier. That's very important for us. So we have our own raw material, and we convert the raw material to all different types of packaging that are presently available on the market. And it's our clear target to be a full service 100% supplier for our customers. Also concerning print, we have all presently known print solutions in the group. So as well preprint as post-print in digital and offset as well as in flexo quality. And that's also actually, by the way, the first connection we had with the digital world, because we were one of the first companies together with Bobst to develop and install a digital printing machine for high quality and big industrial series in the packaging industries already about 20 years ago. So for us, actually, our clear philosophy and our clear target is that everything that can be digital also will be digital within the next years. It's just a question of how fast and when it's going to happen, but not a question if it's going to happen. And also digitalization for us does not stop in one specific area in the plant. It's not just a question of printing or converting, but it's a question of a whole system. And that was actually the first connection we had with openpack, because what we saw in our plans, and actually what you see on the screen, is the layout of one of our big plants. And the problem we faced is that we have a variety of different standards and a variety of different interfaces, which makes it very difficult also for our IT service to not only organize those systems, but also maintain the systems, keep it updated, and gather all information in a central way, make it available to all of the users. And we saw this not only in different machines, but also in different locations of the plants, starting with the raw material storages, then going over the corrugators to the interlogistic systems, over the machines where we have a variety of different machine producers. Everyone had their own standards, and the machines did not communicate with each other or with our system, and we had to manage a variety of different interfaces to make all these information visible to our engineers and to our machine operators. And that, of course, faced our IT engineers with major problems and with a very, very high workload and effort. And therefore, the clear strategy together with openpack was to make all these different standards of data available centrally for all users within the plan, and potentially also for users outside of our organization, which are authorized to connect to those information. So we installed actually one of those first systems and finalized the installation in this plant in the northern part of Germany. So right now we have actually gathered all information in the plant from all different locations, from all different machine producers. We store it, as we heard before, centrally in the hub, and we make these data available for analyzation of the data and for usage to increase productivity and efficiency in the plant. And next step will be to make those information also available for people outside the plant. We think, for example, we think of machine suppliers for maintenance parts, for spare parts, for our suppliers of raw material, and so on. It's kind of a central marketplace for our plants. So right now, what did we reach? Where do we stay? The transparency within the plant increased dramatically. We made these information right now available to all people within the plant which have authorization to connect to those information. And we plan to extend the transparency also to the entire floor, shop floor. We streamlined IT operations. As I said, we had an enormous effort to manage and to maintain all those different interfaces. So we achieved a notable reduction in IT demands. And the clear target is to even furthermore decrease these efforts by a self-sustaining system that furthermore reduces our IT workload. We could increase the productivity with live views and with monitoring all the data we have on the machines significantly. So we see at each moment how our machines perform, and we can, by this information, immediately react if we see that something in the plant is not going as planned. And we plan to improve this in the future by installing even more sophisticated methods of analyzing these data which we have right now. And what also is very important, the speed and the quality of access to those information is dramatically increased compared to what we had before, and always take under consideration that our IT system was already quite sophisticated before. So theoretically we had all data, and I emphasize theoretically because, as I said before, it was a variety of different systems, so it was very complicated to access those information. Right now we have it on a central place, and the access is very easy and very fast. Yeah, what can I say about the cooperation we had so far? Cooperation with openpack was a very, very open cooperation. It was, we see ourselves as a maker, and we can also tell that about openpack. So we had a very reliable partner in openpack, which really helped us identify the problem and find the appropriate solutions without having too much workload on our own IT system. So in fact, we our own people were accompanying openpack, but the main work, the main programming was done by the guys, so that our IT staff could concentrate on their original efforts and did not have to bring too much additional work into this system. So right now, as I told you before, we have finalized generally the first plant, and we agreed a couple of weeks ago to increase our cooperation and take the next plans into the system, connect the plans to get the information not only for one company in the group, but to integrate the rest of the plans as fast as possible. By that, also making the information not only available for the guys which are responsible for one certain plant, but also for the whole group management system, which not only improves efficiency in the plants, but also increases sustainability, reduces CO2 footprints, and is supposed to optimize the whole supply chain within our organization. Yeah, so far from my side, in case there are any questions, please go ahead. Feel free. I will try and do my best to answer all of your questions.
Thank you, Björn, for this statement from your side. I'm quite sure that there are a couple of questions coming from the audience, and yes, there is the first one. So the question is, why do you think it is so important to standardize data in order to deal with the problems in the industry?
You know, generally, I must say that it's just the fact that our world is turning faster and faster, and the answers we have to give to different questions on the one side within the plans concerning productivity, quality issues, sustainability issues, as well as to the outside, to our customers. All those problems have to be solved a lot quicker. Before, as I said, we had to deal with different systems. We had to connect to different systems. This all was costing us a lot of effort and a lot of time. And by standardizing those issues, we get all these information accessible a lot faster. We can solve the problems within the plants a lot faster, which increases our productivity. And on the other hand, we can give those information to our customers or to our suppliers a lot faster. And by that, satisfying our partners in our cooperation.
Thank you for this. There is another question. How well was your company already set up for implementation with openpack?
Generally, and I said that before, and theoretically, we were prepared very good because we already had installed an ERP system, which in fact covered all of the value chain in our plans. So when we started, our IT said and told me, hey guys, in theory, we have already all those information that openpack provides. The problem again was that these information were not standardized, were not accessible in a central way, and were not accessible in one solution. So we always had to connect to different systems. We had to get these information out of different sources, and that was costing a lot of problems and a lot of time. So the preparation for us was actually good, but openpack really helped us to collect the data, to standardize the data, and to make it accessible in one central point. By that, saving a lot of time and problems, also for our IT managers, that reduced the time they needed for maintaining the system and for updating our systems.
Thank you for that. There is another question, a very practical question. Let's see if Björn Schumacher also is working with the alarming tool in openpack. The question is, with what frequency do you adjust the alarming trigger points?
That's a question actually, which I'm unfortunately not able to answer you because I'm sitting in the board of the company, so I'm not using those systems. That's something that our production managers install up to their needs. So sorry, this is something I can't actually answer you.
Thank you. Another question arrived. Have you already connected your production data and by this link resource consumption to item information?
Again?
I will repeat it. The question is, have you already connected your production data and by this link resource consumption to item information? I'm not quite sure if I get the question right.
Me neither.
Okay, we tried to solve this afterwards. Is there another question? Okay, so this was the last question. Again, thank you very much, Björn, for joining this evening and giving some insights to our common work. And happy to move the next steps together. Thanks. And this directly leads us to the next speaker for this evening. We heard the voice of one of our users. And now I have a very interesting company here as a guest. Let's welcome Sebastian Baumgartner. He's the co-founder and CEO of mcloud Systems. And mcloud Systems is a company based not so far away from our headquarters. The special information about mcloud is that they are an openpack partner since our very beginning. And so we have a very long common history together. And yeah, Sebastian will give us some insights about data acquisition in the shop floor, especially in the packaging industry. Sebastian, I'm happy to have you here this evening, and I'm really curious what you will have to say.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Stefan, for the friendly introduction. I will shortly introduce myself. My name is Sebastian Baumgartner. I'm CEO and co-founder of mcloud Systems. And today I will show you a short presentation with the title, A Report from the Field, Data Acquisition in the Packaging Industry. In our opinion, the first step for further data processing units or AI technologies is, we need data. Therefore, the first step is we are focusing on data acquisition in the industry. And today, I will give you a practical side of view related to resource and energy monitoring systems related to the packaging industry. The table of contents. First of all, I will shortly introduce our company, mcloud Systems. After that, I will give you a field report about energy and resource monitoring applications with a focus on packaging industry. And last but not least, I will shortly explain the teamwork and the cooperation with openpack, and will give you an outlook of our further activities. Okay, let's start. I founded the company mcloud Systems together with my brother in 2016 after university and industrial experience. Our headquarters is related in Wolzossen. It's in the northeast of Bavaria, not far away from the border to the Czech Republic, and also not far away from the headquarters from openpack, as Stefan already stated. Additionally, we have another location. It's located in the south of Saxony. At this location, we are focusing on further research and development activities. Our main focus of the company is IoT, especially industrial IoT applications. In this context, we develop, produce, and distribute different IoT products and services. One aspect is definitely the energy and resource monitoring according to the ISO 50001 specification. Another point are industrial retrofit solutions. That means, technical systems for sensor data acquisition and data transmission. The next point are industrial communication systems. This is exactly the field where I come from. That means classical communication engineering with a focus on low power wide area network technologies, mobile communications, and so on. We can roughly summarize our activities as follows. We close the gap between a classical automation technology and the IT infrastructure of a company. And for that interface, we need hardware and software, and this is our main focus of our activities. Okay, on the next slide, we can directly start with a field report. I will explain it on a customer project, which was realized in February, March this year. In this project, together with openpack, we integrated an energy monitoring system for a customer in the packaging industry. The customer was interested in an energy monitoring system of 23 machines and devices. Additionally, the customer wants so-called residual current monitoring systems in order to monitor the residual currents of 11 machines. Residual current monitoring is a special aspect within the energy monitoring system and just helps to reduce the effort for annual electronic tests in the industry. Exactly. In the next, the customer already integrated measurement equipment distributed over the plant, and we should integrate the existing measurement equipment within the new energy monitoring system. Of course, for local data processing, we installed a PLC for the data collection and pre-processing, and this system also offers a lot of other software interfaces. That means we have possibilities to connect local or remote databases, cloud services, and of course, we have openpack ready adapter. That means we can directly push the data to the openpack hub. What was the purpose of this project? The purpose of this project was to get the most relevant electrical parameters in the production. Additionally, to get the residual currents of the dedicated machines and devices. And last but not least, these information should be combined in openpack. In the next 2 or 3 slides, I will explain how this project was realized. Normally, such a project can be divided in 4 milestones or phases. In the first phase, we normally start with the data collection. That means together with the customer, we create a list or an Excel sheet of all relevant machines and devices for doing energy monitoring. In the next step, we determine if maybe some measurement equipment already exists, which should be included in the new energy data management system. In the next point, we have 2 approaches. One approach is we can install all measurement equipment directly, let's say in one room or in one control cabinet. For example, in the low voltage main power distribution, in German NSHV oder Niederspannungshauptverteilung, or we can distribute it over the complete plant. For the purpose, we need additional electronics directly installed on the machines, and this is realized via so-called IoT boxes. These IoT boxes are small control cabinets, devices, which can be plugged on the control cabinets on the machines in order to collect the data and transfer the data to the platform. In the next step, we directly need additional technical information from the customer. That means normally we need the first pages of the electrical diagrams in order to determine the measurement equipment, because we want to find the best technical solution for the customer related to the measurement equipment, network analyzers, or additional sensors like current transformers. Last but not least, we have to talk with the IT infrastructure, because we have several possibilities to do a data transmission. On the one hand side, classically cable-based solution via Ethernet or any other field bus system, or wireless via Wi-Fi, mobile communication, also already mentioned low power wide area network technology. After that phase, we directly come to the planning phase. This is the phase where we normally or directly start working. That means here we have to create a wiring diagram of the overall energy monitoring system. This is normally done with the software ePlan Electric P8. After that, we have to configure all the measurement equipment according to the customer needs, and also do the software adaptations which are necessary for the customer. Last but not least, it depends on the approach. If we have a decentral approach, then we can also start with the production of the IoT boxes. Such an IoT boxes can be found on the next slide. Okay, then we come to phase 3. Phase 3 is the installation phase. This is, let's say, an optional phase. That means if the customer have electricians and they want to install the overall system alone, they can do that. We have no problem with that. Otherwise, we can do the installation for you directly at the plant. We can configure the energy data management system. And last but not least, we set up a small middleware server software within your customer IT, which builds a main interface to openpack. That means we collect all the data and do data pre-processing, and afterwards we directly push the data to the openpack hub. Yeah, in the last phase is the finalization. That means we test the overall energy monitoring system. We can offer you a training for your employees, which are responsible for the energy monitoring system. And last but not least, we do a project handover. On the right-hand side in this picture, you can see such an example of an IoT box, which is directly installed on the control cabinet of a machine. In this box, we have also electronic devices and equipment for collecting the energy data and do the communication to the middleware software. In this case, the data transfer is done wireless with Wi-Fi. In summary, we installed an energy monitoring system according to the ISO 50001 specification. We do all software adaptations according to the customer needs. And another aspect for the customer was to create a system in such a way that it is possible to include further sensors to the system. In this case, for example, the system is prepared for resource monitoring. That means in the future, the customer can connect other sensors like steam sensors, gas, water, or compressed air sensors. We can summarize an energy monitoring system as follows. The first aspect is we have a modular monitoring system, which means the system can be expanded at any time. For example, if the customer starts with 10 or 20 devices and he wants to integrate next year more sensors, then it's possible all the time. It's no problem. Another aspect is that we offer manufacturer-independent connection of sensors and measurement equipment. Means we are not fixed to one or two suppliers. We can connect all measurement equipment from several manufacturers, which uses standardized interfaces. As I already stated, we have the possibility to integrate up further sensors for resource monitoring applications, also sensors with different physical interfaces. And one other, and in my opinion, relevant aspect is that you don't have any ongoing license costs using the energy data management system from us. Optionally, we have the possibility to do a local visualization of the data, which is normally not necessary, because if you use openpack, you directly have a perfect visualization of all energy data. For the customers in Germany, there is another benefit because there exists funding from the government. That means you can get up to 40% of the overall costs by introducing an energy monitoring system in your company. In the next slide, I will just show some pictures of realized projects related to resource monitoring. Here you can see some sensors which are installed along the corrugator. In this customer project, we installed 20 air compression sensors, as well as 5 steam sensors and 8 temperature sensors. On the left-hand side, you can see such an air compression sensor, including a maintenance unit. And on the right-hand side, you can see the steam sensor as well as a temperature sensor. The interface from these sensors to the IoT box can be found on this slide. Here, in this example, the IoT box includes also electronics. That means a programmable logic controller, different interfaces, as well as a communication unit, and the data is transmitted wireless via Wi-Fi technology. Now I directly come to my last slide. I will explain the teamwork and the cooperation with openpack. And as Stefan already stated, we are working together over several years right now. And in all projects, it was an excellent teamwork and a really friendly cooperation. And also in the future, we want to cooperate and want to realize next projects. In this context, we are an industrial partner for energy and resource monitoring applications. We are a technical partner and service provider for any industrial retrofit IoT solutions. We can offer different software interfaces as well as offer a plug-and-play component with the help of an openpack ready connector. And last but not least, we also benefit from the openpack platform because we can use this platform also for our data acquisition systems. Now I come to the last slide. Thank you very much for your attention, and now I'm interested in your questions. Thank you very much.
Sebastian, thank you very much for this snapshot to your company and the projects you did and the projects we did together. And yes, I'm very, very pleased to hear such kind words from you about our cooperation, about openpack. So a special thank you to this. But I can give this back, and this is just another information to the auditorium. The mcloud guys, they're similar to openpack. So it's a small, fast growing company, very agile, very cooperative, and they just do a good job. Let me put it like this.
Thank you for the friendly words.
Yeah, a couple of questions waiting for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go. The first question is, do your systems also offer other software interfaces?
Oh, it's a really good question. Thank you very much for that. Definitely, we offer several interfaces. Like I already stated in the slides, we have the possibility to offer software interfaces for local or remote databases, for directly cloud services, as well as for openpack. So we are really open related to interfaces.
Thank you. There is another question. How long does the process of introducing an energy monitoring system take?
This is a really good question. It also depends a little bit on the customer, of course, because as I already stated in the slides, the phase one is the planning phase. That means we need additional information from the customer. And after that procedure, we can directly start with the planning. But let's say about to get a feeling, I will estimate about 8 weeks to maximum 12 weeks, something like that. Also from the planning
Thank you.
until the installation. Thank you.
Okay, now thank you for this answer. There are no questions left. Sebastian, again, thank you very much. And if I take a look to my watch, I recognize that we are nearly at the end of today's event. I think it's quite on the point. I think we had a very interesting program with really top speakers. Again, thank you for all the participants, the speakers on the one hand, but also you, the auditorium, for staying with us, for giving us your time, for posing interesting questions. So again, thank you. If you have any further questions regarding our projects, regarding our partners, regarding openpack in general, I am very happy to answer your questions. Just contact us. Do not hesitate to call me, to write an email. I'm always there and happy to respond. For today, I wish you a pleasant evening. And in case we will not meet each other in person this year again, it's the time to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's snowing outside, so I think I'm allowed to say this. But for this evening, This is my last greeting to you. Bye-bye. Servus, goodbye, and let's get it out.